And can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Uh, so welcome. We are up to webinar 40 and I can't believe it. And tonight's webinar or this morning's webinar is really about a great input idea that I've used in the past, I forgot about, and then another wonderful sensei, Catherine Sensei, shared it recently, and I thought, "Yeah, this is going to be great for." I'm back in the classroom next week for 4 days as part of their early literacy project that I'm involved in. So I thought that I would share this with everybody, and hopefully that might be something helpful. I'll also share the slideshow so that you can make a copy and try it out. Maybe, Juliani, your Japanese teachers might have a play with it and let me know what they think
Yep.
if it's helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here we go. So it's really, I think it's a really nice way to recycle a lot of the Super Seven, the basic foundational verbs and core language and it can be really used very, very quickly with a super duper beginner, but also it can be extended to really stretch the language depending on your cohort of students. So I think it's just, yeah, it's a win-win one really. And not long ago, I shared one of the Express PDs was on one-word images or the invisibles. So I've just put those up there if you want to have a look. Go back. The very first one, because I love them so much, was the one-word image. But we have revisited it a few times. And also, I have a slideshow that is very step by step by step, and you can access that on Teachers Pay Teachers if that's something that you're interested in. But let's have a look. So after that, I thought this is a really good way to revisit. So earlier this term, in as part of the early literacy project, we did create a character, and it was so much fun. We did it with grade twos, threes, and fours, and they were so engaged with it. It was a lot of fun. And then we followed up with write and discuss. And then we did cold character reading. And so I've shared some of the videos of the kids reading on the Japanese Reads YouTube channel. And, honestly, it, it really epitomized, I think, that when the students really have ownership over the language it's kept comprehensible, and it really ticks off those three core psychological needs of autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which is, if we can tick off those, we have that intrinsic motivation really firing on all systems. So anyway, where was I going with that? So yeah, so we did that, and then I thought next week when I'm back in the class, we can have another go at revisiting some of the one-word image language, but in a different way. So it's also really, I think, kept very comprehensible so that kids who missed that lesson will be able to engage and be included regardless. So it's really well scaffolded. So basically, yeah, I'd really like to thank Catherine for sharing this and reminding me of it. So it's a monster guessing game, and the students will see this, it's projected up. I've just chosen nine, but Catherine shared one that had 48 potential monsters behind these. So I think it's a bit more manageable, perhaps with you can certainly build up to that, but nine's a nice number, I think. So this is projected up on the screen on the whiteboard, and the students. It's a great way to really drip feed some of that rather than rote learning numbers. They're using these in context and can be kept very comprehensible. So, ichi desu ka? So the kids are choosing a number. So they have to choose that number. And behind that number, it's revealed one crazy character. And then the teacher's job is to provide the input by using really simple language and gestures and keeping it really comprehensible. And they have to, the teacher is trying to guess which one it is. So the teacher, so behind each of these is a crazy character. The teacher has all of the pictures, but she doesn't know which number it is. So she has to try and guess by giving clues, or not by giving clues, by asking questions, and the students are answering those questions that the teacher is asking. So I'll go through one. I'm sure that'll make a bit more sense when I go through it. So the teacher will have a copy of all of the crazy animals. So she's got this and she's looking at it. And the questions that can be asked and the language that can be used for a beginner anyway is des, janai. So there is it's something, it's not something. They have something, ga arimasu, ga arimasen. So really simple. They have arms, they have legs, they have eyes, they have horns. The color, iro, the size, and something about their body and their kimochi, their feelings. If they're happy, if they're scary, if they're beautiful. So there are some of the questions that you could ask, but the language can be tailored to whatever your students are using. So you could strip this right back down to, is it blue? Is it pink? Is it small? Is it big? Is it scary? And extend as as um, as is required by the language that your students have. So we'll go through one of so Giuliani, I'll get you to pretend that you are one of the students
Oh,
and
I am a student, so it's actually perfect. I'm very new. Yeah.
okay. So and remembering too that I can't see I can't see anything except for I have this here. Okay. So Juliana might go up and select one of these. So the class that chooses, and they could be going like this. And so you can choose one, pretend that I can't see. So you tell me which number.
Um, three, San.
Okay. So you're just clicking on that. I don't know. And then it'll go to this one. This is the one that the class can see, and I'm not seeing it. I have my nine pictures, and I'm trying to guess which one it is. So I've got my sheet, and I've got all. So I'm looking at this one. You're looking at that, and
Mhm.
I'm asking the questions. So I can't see it. I have my sheet and I'm asking the class the questions. And so I might say,皆さん、モンスターはピンクですか? And so the whole class can respond. ピンクですか? Is it pink?
Janai.
うん。はい。ピンクじゃないです。ああ、そうですか。ピンクじゃないです。And so I'm looking at this. I'm looking here. ピンクじゃないです. So I know that I can knock out these ones, but also I would probably, feign ignorance so that I could get more reps in by asking, ピンクじゃないです。モンスターは大きいですか?
Janai.
うん、い
Okay,
い。
Janai.
大きくないです。大きいじゃないです。うん。
Okay, Janai.
OK。じゃあ、モンスターはピンクじゃないです。So I would be repeating and doing some circling. So ピンクじゃないです。大きくないです。大きくないです。ああ、じゃあ皆さん、モンスターは目が、目がありますか? 目
Ariwa.
がありますか? あります Does he have one? ありません。
Arimas. Arimas. Oh.
ああ、目、
Uh,
目があり、
uh, yeah. Hi.
うん、すごい。じゃあ、目があります。皆さん、目は一つですか? 二つですか?
Futatsu.
二つ、二つ目があります。ああ、じゃあ、皆さん、チェックします。チェックします。モンスターはピンクじゃないです。モンスターは大きくないです。モンスターは目があります。でも、でも、一つじゃないです。目は二つがあります。二つ。二つがあります。いいですか? ああ、じゃあ皆さん、モンスターは5ですか? 5?
Go. Go. No, Janai.
じゃないです。ああ、皆さん、モンスターは緑ですか?
Midori. I know that word.
はい。
Hi.
いえ。
Hi. Hi.
はい。ああ、でも、でも、5じゃないです。
Hi.
ああ、
Go.
だから、and so、だから、モンスターは3ですか?
Sun です。Oh,
3
sun.
ですか? はい、いいえ。
Sun. 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 Sun mo? Mo?
1、
Sun?
2、3。
Sun.
Is it
Oh,
3?
sun. Yes, right. It's number three. I was thinking of a body part. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It is.
3。
Sun です。
ああ、
はい。
すごい、
お疲れ様です。
すごい、すごい、すごい。ああ、よくできました。Good job. So you can see, you can really simplify it down, and you know, use the language that I wasn't sure what language you had. So, sorry for throwing you under the bus there, Julie.
No, it was a perfect example because it
Mm.
was extremely novice. This is lovely.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's, I'll just go through uh, the other. So then once you've done that one and you can say it, yeah, and then just again repeat it like a picture talk. Minasan, uh, monster wa nani iro? What color? Nani iro desu ka? Pink, それとも緑ですか？
Midori です。
そうです。はい、すごい。モンスターはピンクじゃないです。モンスターは緑です。すごい。
うん、
モンスターは大きいですか？そ
はい。
れとも小さいですか？
モンスターは大きいです。
すごい。モンスターは大きいです。モンスターは目があります。それともありません。ありま
うん、
す。目があります。
はい。
ません。
身が
目があり、
あります。
すごい。
あ
二つ。はい。一つ
はい。
じゃないです。二つ目があります。すごい。
うん。
あ、
はいはい。
モンスターは嬉しい、それとも嬉しくない？うん、
嬉し
嬉しいです。はい。嬉しいです。す
い
ごい。
です。
So you can, recap the details of each one and then go back and you can choose another one. Another student can choose another one and on it goes. So uh, again, recycling some of that language here. Um, and, the teacher just using and tapping into the language that the class is familiar with. So, yeah, just making sure you're keeping it comprehensible. Um, but I think there's so much that you can recycle there. And it's really, what I like about it is it's really is, well, I hope that you felt that way, Juliana, like low, low stress, low stakes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kept as a class. The class is responding. So really, if one of your students are a little bit more nervous, there's that collaborative,
Hmm.
working out together, doing it together as a class. So yeah,
Can I ask a question? So the part where you have the slide with the extra vocabulary,
yeah.
yeah, that there. Okay. So have they seen that vocabulary before?
So this was really to remind me what things we could talk about and it might be there for the teacher to use. So I print this out for me for as a teacher because I've got to look at what the monsters look like, but also I could select stuff from here depending on what my students have learnt. So if they've only know Des and Janai, you could just uh, you could just focus on that. Is it big? Is it small? Is it scary? Is it? And
Mhm.
I would just like, um, they might not know scary, but you could just like a little pop-up, not even a grammar, but a pop-up
Yeah.
vocab, and like oh, scary,
Hmm.
kawaii, kawaii, and using the gestures. Same with ureshi if they didn't know that, but it might be a good way to recap some body vocab. So in my classes, we'd use the body parts, throughout the year as a brain break. So they'd be familiar with some of them, but also it's very, you
It's
know,
very, yeah, easy to
very
show.
easy
Right.
to show. But as far as the Super 7, so I've just kept it to basically is not and has not.
Oh,
And
right. That's the
really,
that was the
I,
arimasen.
yeah,
Was that what that was? Okay.
yes, yeah, ga arimasu and ga arimasen. And
Yeah.
I, I feel that that's a fair bit for a beginner.
Yeah.
That differentiation between, or the understanding of the differentiation of the des and janai to ga arimasu and ga arimasen, I think warrants a fair bit of repetition because, um, they really need to see it being used in lots of different ways for them to, yeah, be able to acquire it, obviously. Um, yeah, so in answer to your question, yeah, they would have Des and Janai, but I don't know. As a novice yourself, then was Ga Arimas too much? Like for you,
No,
yeah,
no, that was okay. I eventually it's cool to see it this way because um when I was like been I hadn't studied it this way. But I
mm,
wanted to, but I obviously couldn't find a
yeah,
teacher to do that. So this is cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's broken down.
But
Hmm.
again, you know your students, and you know you know
Yep.
how much you can push them, and but yeah, it could be really scaled down and it can be scaled up. So, I often get asked, yeah, but what about the secondary kids or the kids that are sort of more intermediate? So, to extend the grammar points, you can combine clothing and the adjectives. So, he's wearing a red hat, um,
Mm.
wearing big shoes, or combining clothing and actions. So is wearing a hat and laughing, or is wearing um, uh, has smiling and has his hands in the air.
Mhm.
There's lots of different ways to extend that, I think, but there are just a couple. And then I thought I'd just show you the whopping big one that Catherine Sensei shared. And so there's lots here, up to 48. And yeah, it's just similar, just more options. So again, it's great then for revisiting some numbers. You can talk about, the giving an adjective to some of the body parts. Um, yeah, the shapes, sankaku, Fujisan desu ka, Fujisan janai desu. Yeah, so that's the little input rich activity I had to share. So yeah, as I said, I will put this slideshow into the classroom section so you can download it and use it and extend on it if you'd like. So it's there for you if you wish.
うん
ありがとうございます。
どういたしまして. Yeah. So how are you, Tessa?
Good, thanks.
Good. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you got any questions or comments about that, or any other ways that you can see that being used, maybe?
Um, I've just been doing animals with my year sevens, which has similar language. So I feel like I could do a similar thing, but with, specific animal pictures as well. I
Yeah.
like that, picking the number and then, talking about what's there.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a really good follow-up to what we've been doing.
And
Yeah.
also, I think for the beginners, certainly the teacher would be giving the input, but for the stronger kids, you could definitely be, having them, the confident ones anyway, up there giving the input and asking the questions for clarification.
Do
Yes.
you find if because we are always the ones asking the questions, at least that's sort of how I'm doing it at the moment, which I'm probably missing something. So you make a statement and you ask the questions about it.
Mm.
And I'm sort of finding that my kids don't know how to ask questions,
Mm.
really. They
So
can answer them when I ask them, but they haven't.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm
So
like, maybe I need to spend some time more showing them questions as well as, and not just asking them, but
yeah, and I just finished Liam Printer's most recent podcast episode today about 5 minute input rich.
oh yeah, I listened to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, using pairs. And I think that this could be a really good one for you, Tessa, to, maybe give the kids. I've done it in table groups where I'll say, okay, showing a picture, or if it might be about a story that we had just co-created together, or you could use these and just say, okay, right, um, uh, jot down on the whiteboard as many questions as you can collectively, go. And then a really um, fun game that recycles a lot of this is Eliminator or Terminator. I don't know whether you've played that one.
Oh,
Again,
I don't know that
they,
one.
they work in pairs. So the kids have a whiteboard each and they jot down all of the questions that they can about a certain thing. Like I said, it
Oh, is this the one where if multiple groups have the same answer, you kind of
cross it
cross
off.
off? You're trying to find one that's special.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you could do that for questions. I've done it for statements, but you could also use it for questions and get them to write down as many questions as they can. Um, and a lot of it'll be repetitive, but that's okay if the point is to try and get them to be asking and feel comfortable asking the question, and remembering to put the cut at the end, which makes it the question. A blitz on that, and I think that you'll find that um, that they'd be getting a lot more comfortable
Mm. Yeah, it
creating.
was just something that I noticed. I'm like, oh, they don't, they can answer my questions just fine for the most part. But
Yeah,
yeah, thinking of them themselves was
yeah,
obviously a
I
side I hadn't really thought about.
yeah. I just factor in, just say, okay, you've got 2 minutes. Brainstorm as many questions that you can about this. And then, obviously that they might need at the beginning to, do one together. Lady Gaga desu ka? Uh, Pink desu ka? Uh, and if they don't know some of the vocab, encourage them to use that in English, and they're still creating the sentence structure. So if they don't know the word for teeth, you know, um, teeth ga arimasu ka, just encouraging them to do a mix, I think is totally fine, especially if
Mm.
they're building up their ability to and confidence to create the sentences. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Mm.
I mean, I guess we've done a lot of kind of old, not CI question where I just write a question on the board and they write it down and we
Yeah.
then we practice it a ton, but it
Mm.
never goes in their brain that way. So funnily enough, who would have
Yeah.
guessed?
So yeah, flip it and just sometimes I think that we shortchange the kids, and assume that yeah, it's quite a creative process, them creating their own sentences. And just if
Mm.
I think if they've got the backing of another partner and they're doing it collaboratively, I think that yeah, they can do more than we think.
Definitely. And we had like when we were doing Boris, I had kids be like, I tried to look up the ending to the story, and
Mm.
the answer I got was Boris Johnson or something, the ex prime minister, and they were like, is it Boris Johnson? No. Boris
Boris
Johnson died.
Janai. Boris Janai.
Yeah. And then they're all jumping in like, is it me? It was pretty cute. Yeah, when they start getting that creativity with the
Yeah,
language.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is just gold, isn't it? If they can be using it um, in an unscripted, impromptu way, I just think that's brilliant. That's what we want.
And
You
it's
know.
funny, with the year eights I've been doing Australia, and their assessment is they're making it's sort of only the first half of the book. They're making a version of it themselves. So they have to have their own landmark, and they have to give the guesses and have their characters, and one of the kids was like, oh, is it that book with the poo that we were doing? I'm like, of all the things you remember about the book, it's that it had poo in it.
Of course, of course, that's a universal thing. All
I'm
kids.
like, that's page 2 of the story, and that's as far as your brain went. have
Oh,
you have you heard that one, Juliana? Have you seen Monique's book about
Um,
Australia?
I have seen the covers. I haven't used them.
Yeah. Oh well, I guess you're not a Japanese teacher. That makes sense. But it's like
No,
a
but I could get them for my Japanese teachers.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can they be printed? Can I get them here in the States?
Yeah, yeah, I send out. I've got a few customers in the States that
Like, cool.
are CI, yeah, CI teachers. So yeah, for sure. And there's also, if it's easier, the digital. I'm just organizing the digital, yeah, trying to organize
Okay,
digital
we can
access.
purchase it digital too.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, that'd be nice because we teach online, so they can like
Yeah,
print
actually
stuff.
flip through. Yeah.
It's the flip books. They're really good.
Hmm.
Sweet. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So um yeah, so we've just finished we I'm conscious Tessa knows this. I don't know why it is that my computer seems to just reduce down to low battery so quickly. It just drives me crazy. But anyway, um, um, yeah, so the follow-up to Burger Man is Wasabi Man, and that one we trialed. It's just yeah, just hot off the well, not even off the press because it's just a
I haven't
sampling of
heard of
what
it yet.
we're doing with the early literacy project that I've been involved with, and they finished Burger Man. That was the year threes. Really great reading success with that. I've shared some videos of them reading. It's just, and they did some silent reading earlier with their books, and I just made my heart swell. Silent reading in Japanese. How beautiful is that? So just a little bit of a taste of free voluntary reading. Not really free because but yeah, silent reading. Yeah. So that was really cute. Anyway, they said, "Oh, we finished Burger Man, is there a sequel?" And so I thought, "Oh, all right, if kids are wanting more, I'm up for it." So anyway, we quickly got out the new one, which is recycling a lot of the characters in Burger Man and then introducing the new character, which is Wasabi Man. But all the language is is the same. There's no new language, so that they can really consolidate what they have, um, been able to acquire through the previous book. So it's been, yeah, you'd be all over this too, Juliana, because you're
Yeah.
such, yeah, a book nerd like
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I gotta
That's
get
good because it
get
gives
my
you a
hands on
follow-up one.
Mm.
Like
Pardon?
that was the same as with Benji and Boris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
because
Yeah.
they're very similar. So I did it last year as my assessment that because we read Boris together, and then they read Benji themselves, and then we
Yeah.
had like an interview about
Yeah.
it. And
It,
most of them had no problems reading Benji. I was like, yes, it works.
yeah. Yeah. It's just, and I think with the scripted language, especially, and seeing the characters, the repetition is just so important because they need to be able to connect the sound and the meaning to the squiggle. And, if they know the meaning, if the meaning's there, if it's comprehensible, they know that language and they can apply it then to the squiggle. Um, the reading fluency will follow. It's, yeah,
Mm.
When
And
you, when you say
I'm sorry, you go.
when you say squiggle, are you talking about the characters? Are you
yeah,
talking about the
yeah,
and stuff? Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
And that's how you have success with the cold reading, right? Or
yeah,
the cold character reading is because of they have that meaning.
they have that meaning before they, you know, the language that they have a really solid understanding of the oral meaning of it. So they have that mental representation, and they can hear the Japanese sounds. They can, they've heard so much of that through
Mhm.
the input rich activities. So when they come to reading it, they and because the cold character reading text needs to be much more lengthy than what you would think for a novice beginner, and that is so that they can get those reps in the reading. And it starts off slow and you just see it. They just pick up the speed and the fluency because they are seeing those squiggles, those characters in multiple times, in multiple different ways in the text, in the story. Just charging up.
Can I have you done much? I've only really heard of the gallery walks and that kind of thing.
Sorry. Um, I think the gallery walk is something that I've seen other CI teachers use, and I think it's brilliant. Um, and I think that is something that, once you've got a CI library of, a range of different books would be really brilliant. Um, Unfortunately, in my experience anyway, I haven't seen the focus on stories and um, certainly not CI readers in my
Mm.
experience.
Mm.
So I don't think that's really being done here anyway, not here in
Because
Australia.
my year sevens have been doing well, it's supposed to be a pet profile, an animal profile, and lots of them chose to do it as mini books instead of posters, which is fine.
Mhm.
But it sort of made me think, well, they're quite cute little things and they put in a lot of effort. So I was sort of like, how do I make it that everyone can see each other's work
Yeah,
and, gain from that? And
yeah.
I've heard of these gallery walks, but I've not really,
Mm.
it sounds easy, like so many CI things, where they're like, just
Yeah,
put everything out and everyone goes together and you just talk about them. But
yeah.
it's
Well, I've just recently finished Mike Peto's book, The Two Classrooms, which is really good read, really easy, really practical, and he goes through and explains
that one.
how he does it, and he also does like a little like a taster of. So, one way that one thing you could do is with each of these is just do a little show and tell
Mm.
for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, um, you know, sh maybe send a
Like have
week.
the students do it or just take some of the students' work. And
I,
like I was
I
thinking,
yeah, I
the
okay.
science have those document camera things, that you can put something under and it shows it up on the screen. So I
Yeah.
was thinking of trying to borrow one of those and kind of, because some of the books they made are like this, this big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, but because most of them didn't have pets, they've been quite creative about
Mhm.
it. So I was like, how do I share what they've made together, you know, and make it. And then I've got 2 classes of year 7, so it's quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And the year 8s are making a book too. So I'm like, I've got all these
Mm.
books, and now I need to figure out how to,
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
So maybe spend, a couple of, maybe a week, just pointing out, showcasing the different ones, just drip feed again. I think, that's probably key. And then, have some silent reading time, or, if they're all similar language, they, they just different um, content, or, different topics, same language, but different,
Mm.
um, yeah, topics of interest or whatever, pets or whatever it is, and, just give them 10 minutes, 5, 10 minutes of, okay, find one, sit down and, um, or do it as pairs. Yeah, I don't think you need to be too structured about it, but um, if
Yeah,
it's,
it just seemed to me, I was like, hey, I've got all these books.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
must be something I can do with this.
definitely, yeah. That's the start of your little mini classroom
Mm.
library. That's what I would do. Get it in
Yeah.
uh, a shoebox, or whatever, a little.
Yeah, so I've got the Hiraga, the Japan Foundation mini books.
Mm.
And those, it's funny, I've got some year 8 boys who are very resistant, oh, I can't do Japanese. I hate Japanese. When am I ever need this? And one of them keeps forgetting his computer, so I just keep giving him these mini hiragana books and he can read them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his friend was sitting next to him and he was like teaching his friend the
Mm.
character. He's like, no, man, that's ah. Like, look, it's ah. Look up there. Can't you see? It's ah. And I'm like, oh, oh.
Yeah,
We're trying not to be too excited in front of them,
yeah,
but I'm like, it's working.
yeah.
It's working.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
it like he hasn't even realized, but he's read the first 10 or whatever it is.
Mm.
And he knows so much more than when he was,
Mm.
doing Duolingo. Like he's
It's the
just
power of reading, preaching to
yeah.
the choir here.
I know, but it just made me, I was like, look at this, he's telling him. And then earlier in the day, with my year 7s, they were writing their little books and you could hear them being like, oh no, it's ga. How do I make ga? It's ka with the two little marks, the 10-10. What's the
Yeah,
circle called? And I'm like, it's working. It's
yeah,
working.
yeah,
So yeah, like just getting to the end and not having kids have just checked out completely, but
yeah,
actually having conversations. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not, I'm not 95% comprehensible. I'm not all CI or anything, but the stuff that I'm doing
yeah,
is work. It's still working, even though it's part-time CI.
yeah, yeah. No, I think you're doing great. You give everything a crack, and I think that that's the key, and I think that's what a lot of teachers are resistant with. They're not prepared to um, try something that is a little bit left of center, perhaps, and I
I
think,
think it's the control. We're used to being
yeah,
in
yeah,
control, and everyone, our departments, they want your weekly list of what you're going to do and, your monthly planning and everything in control.
yeah,
And yeah, CI is like go with the flow and what your students want. Like I looked up fourth dimensional being in Japanese if you ever want to know what it is. The other day, and I went, what is going on? Like
yeah.
Miss Tessa, do you know how to say fourth dimensional being in Japanese? I'm like, no, but I'll try and find out for you.
Oh, that's so
It's
cool.
Yonjigen no hito if you want to know.
I think.
Yonjigen no hito.
The funny thing is, they'll probably remember that. That'll be like,
Yeah. yeah, the stuff that sticks in their head.
And yeah,
And
because it's
I
related
had,
to them. Mm.
yeah, and I had kids. I didn't teach them. They're in the other Japanese class. They come up and miss, do you know what this means? And they said something, and I was like, no. And then eventually it turned out that one of them had looked up how to say "you're dead," and they were going around being like, "Oh my gosh, Shinderu," except they were saying it really badly. And then I instead of being like, "You shouldn't say that," I taught them how to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, yeah.
They're still walking around saying "you're dead," but now they're saying it properly.
Well, look, we celebrate our wins, don't we?
Well, I don't know if that was the right move, but
Oh. Oh, well, look, I think I'm going to have to finish up here.
right.
And yeah, I hope that that was helpful. And like I said, you can access this in, I'll just upload it into the classroom. So you can, yeah, please try it out and let me know how it goes. Yeah.
I will.
Mm.
Probably on Thursday.
Yeah. Terrific.
Um,
Yeah.
just on another note, have you got my order yet, or is it
Came
school
through
still?
today. Yeah, came through today. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. So Burger
Excellent.
Man coming your way.
Excellent.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Some ages.
Well, is that for this coming
For
is
term 4, yeah.
term four?
Well,
Yeah,
well, whenever I'll start it whenever we get it. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, like I said, it's processing. I got it today. It's processing, uh, and yeah, I'm happy to share the digital Wasabi Man as follow up, so you can use
Yoshi.
that with the kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, well, Juliana, thank you for getting up early and joining us. It's lovely to
Yeah,
have,
no,
yeah.
I I really look forward to connecting with teachers like this. It's very enriching. So,
What time is it over there, Juliana?
um, six, just about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:50 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Nice.
good commitment there.
Yeah, yeah. CI all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, all the way.
All the way. Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your guys' evening.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
And enjoy your day and yeah, we'll see you hopefully, yeah, next Express PD.
Yeah, and Monique, can we access some of those links you're saying for the PDFs? Is that something
Yeah.
in school or where
Yeah,
it's
so I will share it and I'll tag you both so that you can,
okay.
I'll put it, I generally put any resources in the uh, classroom
Awesome.
section.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you go into the classroom, there's the drop-down menu. So you click on the classroom and you'll see um, all the Express PD videos and there's free resources there, and there's a couple of paid ones too. But yeah, all the resources. This one I'll um, share freely, and that'll be in the classroom. But I will tag you both so that you can access it easily.
Okay, and also the link you're saying to purchase PDFs of your book as well.
Oh yes, no worries. Yep. So
Is that in the classroom to download your books or
so
to purchase books?
yeah, I'm just sorting out the like a membership. So at the moment, what's in the classroom is access through of a for teachers of a digital membership. But if you're wanting, is I'm wondering whether that will be enough for you. Is that going to be suitable for you? If you would like it um, to if you're using it, if your teachers are using it to share, it will work, no problem. But if you want the kids to access it outside of the class, I'll have to sort out another
Maybe
thing.
it's easier just to get a hard copy, perhaps. Well, yeah.
It's going to be tricky for your kids online. I'm working out some options, so
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
get back to you. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So
Love it.
yeah, give me a minute, and I'll yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll tag you so you'll have access to this and yeah, hopefully see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Thanks.
Okay. See you. Ja mata. O yasumi nasai.
Oyasumi.
Mata ne.
Where are they?